So in your career, you got to match up against other Nike hoopers. Do you have a favorite matchup?
You're gonna get me in trouble. Honestly, I'll just say DT because she's such an icon in our sport and has been in the game for so long. You know, getting to share the court with her was pretty fun, and you just see her competitive spirit. Even though you're not on her team, you can just feel it as a competitor.
Diana Taurasi once warned Caitlin Clark with the now infamous words, "Reality is coming." But as Clark took the WNBA by storm in her rookie season, it turned out that Taurasi was the one facing a new reality. What does Caitlin Clark really think of Diana Taurasi, who has just recently announced her retirement? And how did one of the greatest players in league history go from Clark skeptic to admirer?
What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing.
This was more than just a passing comment. It became the catalyst for one of the most intriguing storylines in women's basketball. Taurasi, a WNBA legend, made her stance clear, and fans immediately split into two camps. Some defended her words as the hard truth from a seasoned veteran, while others saw it as outright dismissal of Clark's potential. The debate ignited social media, talk shows, and courtside discussions, fueling the anticipation for Clark's professional debut. Every WNBA arena she stepped into felt like a proving ground, and the weight of expectations was unlike anything the league had seen before.
And that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
From the moment Clark took the court, the spotlight followed her every move. The pressure was immense. Was she ready to prove herself? Or would she struggle to keep up with the intensity of the league? Every pass, every shot, every possession was scrutinized. But what no one expected was that Clark wasn't just going to survive. She was about to flip the script entirely. With each game, she wasn't just keeping up. She was setting a new pace, rewriting records, and redefining what a rookie season could look like. The so-called reality check that many thought was coming for Clark never arrived. Instead, it became a wake-up call for the league itself.
Caitlin Clark is way better, way sooner than anybody thought.
Clark's arrival wasn't just another highly touted prospect stepping into the league. It was a seismic shift. She wasn't merely adjusting, she was dominating. Her stat lines were historic, her influence undeniable. Game after game, she proved that she wasn't just a momentary sensation, but a generational talent who was here to stay. So, who really got hit with reality? The rookie stepping into uncharted territory, or the veteran watching a new era unfold before her eyes? And here's the best part. Taurasi saw it too. The same player who once questioned how Clark would handle the league was now acknowledging what everyone else had come to realize. Caitlin Clark wasn't just living up to the hype. She was surpassing it. Reality had arrived, and she was wearing an Indiana Fever jersey.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar. Not a female superstar, she is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Caitlin Clark's three-point shooting became the talk of the league. She didn't just prove she belonged in the WNBA. She redefined what a rookie could accomplish. In record-breaking time, Clark became the fastest player in league history to sink 100 three-pointers in a single season. And as the regular season came to a close, she made history yet again. In the final regular season game against the Washington Mystics, she drained her 122nd three-pointer, surpassing none other than Diana Taurasi for the second most three-pointers made in a single WNBA season. This wasn't just a young star adjusting to the pro game. This was a sharpshooter rewriting the record books in real time. But Clark's skill set extended far beyond her elite shooting. Her stats spoke for themselves. Averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game, she led all rookies in scoring and finished first in the entire league in both three-pointers made and assists. She wasn't just keeping up with the veterans, she was outperforming them, setting the tempo, and making history every step of the way. By the time her freshman campaign ended, she had broken 62 WNBA records, a number unheard of for any first-year player. The level of dominance she displayed was something the league had never seen before.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Her matchups against Diana Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury became some of the most highly anticipated games of the season. Every time they faced off, it was must-watch TV. And Clark didn't just rise to the occasion, she took over. In one particularly dominant performance, she dropped 29 points, dished out 10 assists, and grabbed 5 rebounds, leading Indiana to victory. More impressively, Clark and the Fever completed a 3-game season sweep over Taurasi's Mercury, proving that the new era had well and truly arrived. The rookie wasn't just competing with legends, she was surpassing them. Who could forget this wonderful TikTok celebrating the sweep? But Clark's influence stretched beyond statistics and on-court dominance. The WNBA as a whole experienced a surge in viewership and attendance, with millions of new fans tuning in. For the first time ever, the WNBA's live broadcast ratings surpassed the NHL's, a shift no one saw coming. The Caitlin Clark effect wasn't just media hype. It was a seismic shift actively transforming women's basketball.
Well, I knew the atmosphere was going to be electric when they announced Caitlin's name in the dark and the fans went crazy.
The Fever's away games became sellouts, with fans traveling across the country just to watch Clark play live. Commentators couldn't stop talking about her, and even former skeptics had to acknowledge that she wasn't just a rookie sensation. She was the new face of the league. Fans, both new and longtime supporters, flocked to arenas just for the chance to see Clark in action. Merchandise sales skyrocketed. Fever games became marquee matchups, and every broadcast featuring her broke records. Her presence elevated the league, injecting a new level of energy that was impossible to ignore. She wasn't just a player. She became a cultural phenomenon.
The WNBA has seen record-breaking numbers this season in viewership, ticket sales, merch sales, and just overall growth of the league.
Under the immense weight of expectations, Clark did more than just survive. She thrived. She earned multiple Rookie of the Month honors, proving her consistency and ability to deliver at an elite level night in and night out, eventually being awarded Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA. But perhaps her most remarkable achievement, leading the Indiana Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016. In just 1 year, she transformed a struggling franchise into a postseason contender. This wasn't just about personal accolades. Clark elevated everyone around her, proving that she wasn't just a star but a game changer.
Big things are in store for the W, and it's because of Caitlin Clark.
While Caitlin Clark was setting the league on fire, a WNBA icon was facing an entirely different reality. Diana Taurasi, once the most dominant force in the game, found herself navigating unfamiliar territory. The player who once struck fear into opponents with her lethal scoring and relentless attitude was now dealing with reduced minutes, declining production, and an increasing wave of questions about her future. For years, she had been the standard, the benchmark of excellence. But now, as Clark ascended, Taurasi's own journey took an unexpected turn. Was this the moment when the torch was quietly being passed?
If this is your final regular season game in front of the X Factor.
The conversation surrounding Taurasi's future only intensified as the season progressed. The once untouchable veteran was now struggling to keep up with the league's rapidly evolving pace. While Clark's name was being etched into record books, Taurasi's presence on the court was becoming less dominant, leading to widespread speculation. Was retirement on the horizon? Was the reality she warned Clark about finally arriving for her instead?
How do we say thank you 7,427 times?
The GOAT delivers again!
One for every day we were proud to have you wear our uniform.
Diana Taurasi!
Face of the franchise just doesn't cut it for someone who has been the Mercury heartbeat for 20 of our 28 seasons.
Hey, let's go!
If this is it, how do we thank someone not for what they did, but what they gave?
Then came the Olympic roster announcement, and the controversy that followed only added more layers to the already complex narrative. Taurasi secured her spot on Team USA, extending her legendary Olympic career. But Clark left off the list. This decision sent shockwaves through the basketball world, sparking heated debates on social media and beyond. How could a player who carried a franchise back to relevance and single-handedly elevated the WNBA's popularity be excluded? Fans and analysts alike questioned the decision, with many believing it was more about politics than performance. The backlash was immediate, and suddenly, the lines between Taurasi and Clark supporters grew even more distinct.
Not just how you scored, but how you competed.
Not just how you celebrated the wins, but how you hated to lose.
If this is it, thank you for letting us share in the joy.
For the banners and the MVPs.
For 10,000.
For getting to see you on that medal stand 6 times.
For letting us call you GOAT, even though you hated it.
And for the technicals where you really got your money's worth.
If this is it, thank you for the sacrifices.
But not everyone in the league was silent about Clark's impact. Sue Bird, Taurasi's longtime friend and fellow WNBA legend, stepped forward and publicly praised Clark's game. Bird, who had seen countless greats come and go, acknowledged that what Clark was doing was beyond special. She wasn't just another talented rookie, she was already reshaping the league.
So yeah, as I mentioned, Kelsey Mitchell's balling, Caitlin continuing to impress, and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record break.
Yeah.
Sophie Cunningham, one of Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury teammates, also voiced her admiration, solidifying the growing recognition that Clark wasn't just hype. She was the real deal.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day, for real.
Then, in a moment that seemed to shift the narrative entirely, something unexpected happened. During one of their games, cameras captured Taurasi putting her arm around Clark. A small, seemingly insignificant gesture, but one that carried immense weight. In that instant, the icy tension between the two seemed to melt, even if just for a brief moment. It wasn't a grand statement, nor was it a viral soundbite. But for those paying attention, it was clear. This was more than just a passing interaction. It was respect. It was acknowledgement. It was perhaps even an unspoken admission that Clark had earned her place among the greats. As the season unfolded, something unexpected happened. Diana Taurasi's perspective started to evolve. The skepticism she once voiced was slowly replaced with something else. First, it was a subtle nod of approval, then a begrudging acceptance, and finally, full-fledged admiration. In a post-game interview that caught many off guard, Taurasi openly praised Caitlin Clark's impact. "What Caitlin has accomplished in such a short time is truly incredible," she admitted. Coming from a player of Taurasi's stature, those words carried immense weight. It wasn't just another veteran giving a compliment. It was a legendary figure acknowledging that a new force had arrived.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. What Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. The one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, throughout, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her, and she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future is super bright, and being a veteran and being in this league for a long, long time, it's pretty cool to see that and going into the future.
This wasn't just a rivalry anymore. It had become a defining moment for the WNBA. Clark's rise and Taurasi's response weren't just about individual players. They represented something bigger. It was a reflection of the league's ongoing transformation, a visible shift from one generation to the next. Fans who had drawn battle lines earlier in the season now found themselves appreciating the bigger picture. Clark's dynamic energy and Taurasi's undeniable legacy coexisting in a rapidly growing sport. Taurasi's evolving stance mirrored what was happening across the league. Initially, there were doubters, some reluctant to embrace the wave of change that Clark represented. But as the season progressed, even the harshest critics had to admit the undeniable truth. Clark's presence was elevating the league in ways no one could ignore. More eyes were on the WNBA than ever before. Attendance records were being shattered, and mainstream media was covering women's basketball at unprecedented levels. Whether they loved her or not, Clark was a game changer, and even Taurasi couldn't deny it anymore.
For the injuries we never knew about.
For 365-day seasons.
For allowing a city you'd never visited to become your family's home.
If this is it, thank you for the moments.
But what truly made this moment special wasn't just Taurasi's shift in perspective. It was Clark's unwavering response throughout it all. While debates raged online and commentators dissected every comment, Clark never took the bait. She never fired back at Taurasi, never engaged in petty back and forths. Instead, she let her game do the talking. And with every deep three-pointer, every clutch assist, and every win against Taurasi's Mercury, her message was loud and clear. Yet, what set Clark apart wasn't just her on-court brilliance. It was her composure off the court. When reporters tried to stir the pot, asking for her reaction to Taurasi's past comments, she always kept it professional. She'd shift the conversation, emphasizing her team's goals, celebrating her teammates, and respecting the legends who paved the way. This wasn't just smart media training. This was Clark's genuine character on display. She wasn't here to get caught up in unnecessary drama. She was here to play, to win, and to push the game forward.
Caitlin, with tomorrow being the first matchup in your career against Diana Taurasi, does that bring any sort of extra excitement for you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's somebody I grew up, idolizing and, looking up to and wanting to be like one day. So, obviously she's one of the greatest players our game has ever seen, greatest scorer our game has ever seen. So for me, I'm excited. That's fun. It's almost kind of like a dream come true in a way. You get to live out your dream while playing against the best. One of the best there ever has been. So, it's fun for me for sure.
Clark's professionalism didn't go unnoticed. What once seemed like a tense rivalry between her and Taurasi slowly took on a new meaning. At first, fans framed their dynamic as a battle between generations, with Clark on one side, rewriting history, and Taurasi on the other, representing the league's foundation. But over time, it became clear that Clark wasn't here to tear down the past. She was here to honor it, even as she set new records.
It feels good to be home. For the passes we didn't see coming.
And the shots we knew were going in before they left your hand.
Diana's done it! She is one of one!
Thank you not just for the elimination game win.
Taurasi, a 3 for the lead!
But for what it felt like to have you on our side on those nights.
Taurasi, the pull-up is good, and the foul!
Fire, the laughs, for loving the game and never cheating it.
But this wasn't just about two players anymore. It was about a league in transition, a sport evolving in real time. Clark's rapid rise and Taurasi's shifting stance symbolized something much bigger, a moment where the past, present, and future of the WNBA were coming together. The face of the league's history was now recognizing its newest star, and in doing so, acknowledging the inevitable shift happening before everyone's eyes. The impact stretched far beyond individual accolades. Clark wasn't just transforming the game with her skill. She was reshaping the WNBA's entire presence in sports culture. TV ratings were soaring, social media engagement was through the roof, and arenas were packed with fans eager to witness history. Even the loudest skeptics had to admit it. Clark was elevating the league in ways that couldn't be ignored.
For the ones who picked up a ball to be like you, who pull up from the logo because you did.
In playing the right way, you represented a city, changed a franchise, and lifted a league.
We hope you felt us behind you every step of the way.
If this is it, most of all, thank you for doing it all in one uniform.
Perhaps the most significant takeaway from this evolving relationship between Clark and Taurasi was the lesson it provided for future generations. Their story proved that competition and respect could go hand in hand. Rivalries didn't have to be hostile, they could push the game forward while maintaining a sense of sportsmanship. Young players watching saw more than just talent on display. They saw a model for how to carry themselves at the highest level.
Strider finds Taurasi a three. It's good. She got it. The GOAT delivered again.
If this is it, thank you will never be enough. But it's a start. Love all of us.
Taurasi's journey from skeptic to believer mirrored the WNBA's growth as a whole. As Clark continued to break records and set new standards, Taurasi's doubts faded. By the season's end, her words carried more weight than ever, a legend recognizing the arrival of the next great star. This wasn't just about recognition, it was about passing the torch. A new era of women's basketball had officially begun, and at the center of it all was Caitlin Clark. And the most exciting part? She's only just getting started. Are you excited? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.